Welcome to another episode of Advertising Alpha. Today we have Zohaib, who's a VP of growth at Social Snowball. Social Snowball has worked with, now it's like over 3,000 brands, I think, right? You've worked in kind of the product and growth roles in a number of different places. You've been around the block. You know this pretty well. You know e-com and D2C pretty well. So super pumped to have you on because I got some, I think, good questions for you and really interested to hear what you have to say and just, the insights that you can kind of bring today. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm super excited. Always love talking to H Street teams. Yeah.
Awesome. So, we can jump right into it. Really, the first question I have for you is, at what growth stage should a direct-to-consumer e-commerce brand really start to think about an affiliate program or affiliate marketing? Where does this really come into play? Where does it make a big impact?
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I'm gonna say at any stage, but like to be super, super frank, I think the most successful brands are the brands that already have built a little bit of a following, right? Like when you approach an affiliate, that affiliate should kind of know you or have heard or seen other affiliates talk about you, because otherwise affiliates don't really want to sell. It's just like finding your first employee versus your 10th employee, right? Like if you hire your first employee is always the hardest one to hire. And then once you're at like 8, 9, 10, that 10th employee is a little bit easier because they've seen nine other people kind of do it essentially. Typically, most brands that I see start doing successfully are like brands that are doing at least like 1,000,000 a year in revenue. And then they have some sort of brand presence, maybe like a couple of thousand followers on Instagram. Some social proof helps.
Okay, awesome. So just kind of summarizing that, it's about a million in revenue is a good time to start. And then, what did you say in terms of social platforms? Is like 1,000 followers on, like, let's say Instagram, TikTok, whatever that, is that like a good benchmark?
Yeah, I think like if you as long as you're posting some videos, like, don't look like a drop shipping site, like, essentially, right? Like, the
Yep.
farther away you can look like where look like like a legit brand versus just like, "Hey, here's this, like, electric air pump that, like, I'm selling on Amazon," right?
Yeah.
Like, let's try to go towards building a brand presence, a why to your brand, etc. Typically, those brands have a couple of thousand followers. I don't think you need 10,000 or even 5,000 necessarily, but like have some posts, have a few followers, and try to get some comments like in your post. So engage with your current audience. So when an affiliate goes to do their research on like, hey, do I want to work with this brand? Or like an influencer wants to, like does their research on, do I really want to like bring this brand on as like someone I talk about? Then it makes that conversation easier. Like, at the end of the day, these influencers have a following that they need to nurture and that they need to foster, and if that following starts to think like, "Okay, this person that I follow, all they do is just sell me shitty products," they're not gonna want to ever promote you again. They're gonna cut you out, and it destroys their credibility. So they do this research, they care about that stuff, so, like, try to build some sort of, like, presence. I'm not saying you have to be, like, the biggest brand in the world, like, honestly, I know a lot of companies, they don't really do that much in revenue, but they just look like they do a lot in revenue, right? It's all
Yep.
perception.
Yeah. So just to follow up on that, what I'm kind of hearing is it's really important for you to have developed like a pretty good baseline of a brand online, right? So when that affiliate goes and does their research, they look at your website, they look at your socials, they're confident that there's some intentionality around the brand and like where the brand's positioned and like the overall aesthetics, I think too, of like whatever the content you're posting on socials or just the way the website looks. It needs to look legitimate. I'm kind of hearing it's more of a situation where affiliates would be interested in working with you if your brand looks good online, right? I feel like that's somewhat qualitative. It's really hard to define that. So is there anything too where you could kind of say like, hey, if you're doing these things, you're doing it right, and affiliate will do their research, see it, and be like, hey, this is a brand that I think is a good brand to work with.
Yeah, I mean, like I look at Duolingo as, like, kind of like shitty posts plus premiere post, like, they just do it all. I think you have to just start having a posting cadence, and that posting cadence isn't just, "Here's my product," like, let's say if, like, I got Kirkland water right here, right? Like, Imagine like a water bottle company is just posting a water bottle like every single day, and that's it, just saying buy me, buy me, buy me. No one's gonna follow that, right? What they're gonna follow is, someone who is posting maybe something that's entertaining to watch, maybe something that's educational, maybe something that's just driving this like kind of Y factor. So I look at Midday Squares, they did this like us versus against them thing, right? So if your brand starts to maybe want to challenge like the big guys out there. So for example, Midday Squares, they challenged Hershey's and like big chocolate, right? That's the term that they used. They made it something entertaining to watch. So I would consider, I'm not saying go copy that, but I would consider like finding this like niche thing to kind of talk about. And it doesn't need to be necessarily your product per se. It could be something adjacent to your product, or like the use case of as to why they would use your product. And then one thing will lead to another. But you have to start with like your first few videos. Like none of them are like, not all of them are going to hit. It might just be one out of the 10. But like, then you just double down on the one that did hit. And then you keep making more content. Like, hopefully that answered that question. I just think like, some people just overthink social media. Like, hey, there's like this like exact formula. There isn't. They change the algorithms all the time. Like if you go on TikTok right now, like for example, TikTok shops, like TikTok wants everyone to do live shopping. Like they want to popularize that in the US. So the brands that are doing live shopping right now are killing it in terms of
Yep.
revenue for TikTok shops. But you wouldn't have known that otherwise, because maybe you as a person don't go on TikTok shop. So these algorithms are always changing because they want the brands to have a certain behavior. They want content creators to have a certain behavior. It's just like you have to just keep trying different things to figure it out though.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's funny you say that. That happens on the paid ad side too, because well, I always think it's like what incentives exist and like what incentives are these platforms trying to create for both like, the advertisers and then the users. And a lot of times people are like, oh, like video is working really well or static's working well or Instagram Reels is the best channel. It's just you would know that if you just thought about what Meta was trying to incentivize. And if it's they're opening up a new like channel like Instagram Reels that they're trying to use to compete with TikTok, obviously they're going to have some type of discount on CPMs because they're trying to open up that inventory. So obviously it's going to work out well for you. And I think it's the same point here where TikTok's trying to incentivize people to do live shopping because they want to start creating that user behavior. So therefore it is going to be a good strategy. So I think always distilling stuff down to be like, hey, what's the kind of motive here? What's the incentive that's being generated by this context? Does that
Yeah,
make
that's why I
sense?
think like working with an agency or some sort of knowledge expert to at least get you started, like a consultant or something. Like, for example, like you just said the paid ad thing. They, you how are probably keeping like a pulse on what the technologies or like that are out there, Meta, Google, etc., are kind of releasing, and you work backwards. Whereas a brand is like, I want to look like that other brand and I want to do what they're doing. But guess what? They already did it. You're already late to the game. You got to figure out something
Yeah.
else, dude. Like otherwise you're not really going to stand out or you're not going to maximize on ROAS. So the way that I would recommend it, and I'm sure you recommend the same, is work backwards. Like what's the new thing that these technology companies are coming out with, or like what are the latest things, and like let's try that first because that actually might be like the game changer moment, and then your brand becomes the brand that everyone's talking about on TikTok or Instagram or whatever.
100%. Yeah, that's a really good point. Awesome. So next question for you here is what's the biggest misconception about affiliate programs? Like and I'm asking like maybe if you could kind of run us through some examples where let's say you're talking to a potential customer of Social Snowball and they're like, "Hey, like I don't do affiliate because of this," or I worked with these other affiliate platforms and this always happens. Like what are those big misconceptions that you kind of see I don't know if you want to highlight maybe one to two, maybe three and then kind of talk about those.
Yeah, there's actually yeah, there's so many that I can give you, but one of the first ones is like, hey, I turned on, my affiliate program, no one wanted to sign up, no one posted anything, whatever, or like I'm not seeing money come in. Well, the thing is, this goes back to what I was alluding to earlier. If you don't have any affiliates on the platform, I mean, on your, store at first, then there's no one that's going to be posting or signing up for your affiliate program otherwise because they need to see other people do it. So my biggest like tip is maybe you work with one or two creators on a retainer basis first then you leverage their content and you use that as an example for the future affiliates that you reach out to and say, hey, look, this person did this and they earned XYZ from us. Here's some of the examples of what they posted. Would love for you to get a free product and do the same. It makes it a little bit easier because there's social proof. There's someone who did it before, and then it's just easy for you to like show some examples and convince someone to do it, right? Also, the other thing is like I mentioned a little bit in my first response was like in terms of misconception is what's like the period where I start seeing revenue? Like I'm not seeing it right away. The thing is, there's a buying cycle, right? Just like paid ads, it takes sometimes 3 or 4 ads for someone to want to buy something. That's why retargeting ads is even like a concept that people talk about because someone lands on your site, they don't buy right away, and then they get retargeted, right? So, like, how I think of affiliate is sometimes it's not even the first affiliate that they look at, like their content, like on Instagram or TikTok, that the person ends up buying. It's after their fourth or fifth person. So, scaling is very important and you might not start seeing sales until month 3. Like I was just looking at a client's account today and literally January, February, March, barely any sales, like maybe like $100 a day or something. And then out of nowhere, it just like peaked like really, really like astronomical amount in the end of March. And that just goes back to the 3 month period that I'm talking about is like they were focused on scaling affiliate content the entire time and getting like their like manufacturing virality essentially, like getting more and more people talking about them, getting them onto the affiliate program, and then incentivizing them to keep creating more content. So what they did was they said, "Hey, look, yes, you'll get your commissions on any sales, but if any of your videos like pops off, we'll give you another $50 as a bonus. We'll give you $25. You hit X amount of comments. We'll give you $50 if you hit 1 million views, like et cetera, et cetera. And if whoever gets the most amount of sales this month will give out a free iPad, right? Like they made those extra incentives. So people were bought into this like gamified experience. And then month 3 comes, and then out of nowhere, there's so much content. Maybe the For You pages start thinking like, okay, this is a trending topic now. We have to like blast it on our Discover pages or For You pages now. And then the sales start rolling in, right? That's the difference between I think affiliate and paid ads even because paid ads it's like you spend more money you'll start seeing more sales come in, but with like affiliate it's not you spend more money and then right away you'll get this immediate dopamine hit. No, like it's a slow burn. You're gonna start seeing it like month 3, month 6, month 9. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be something where you just start seeing some like immediate sales. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm sure in a lot of cases it's kind of flat and then it's like exponential.
Yeah, yeah, and then what I see some brands do, and this goes into your world, Hal, is like they'll take their best affiliates, the ones that are getting a ton of impressions and views, and they'll tell them, "Hey, look, let's whitelist this. Let's run ads
Yep.
through your account and we'll give
Yep.
you royalties." So they'll give them like instead of the 20% commission they were giving on organic content, they'll knock it back down to like 2%. And they'll say, look, we're going to run ads on this through your account. It's a lower ROAS for the brand because now you're just like targeting their entire follower list by boosting the posts. And then it also helps with their follower count and impressions and all that. And it becomes a synergistic relationship. We should definitely talk about this idea. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of brands start doing that. Like Frostbuddy is a perfect example. They start with affiliates, they vet them, they see what content they produce, and then they're like, all right, let's double down the relationship. And then they whitelist their content.
Yeah, whitelisting content creators and content from like specific like high performing content creators have been phenomenal for some of our clients. And there would be like some of our like winning ads just promoting that. It's not even to their followers. We'll take that and just put in it like our campaigns.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even
Yeah,
think of
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of ask you a little bit more about how, you started describing like how you build out this program. So I'm wondering too if you maybe want to quickly talk to like the 10,000-foot level playbook for starting an affiliate program. Just to take a step back, if there's anyone that's kind of interested, it's like, all right, well, how do I start? What does that actually look like? And if you just want to do a simple, like, 5-step process or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So, like step one, honestly, identify from your customer list who may be an affiliate. Like turn your customers into an affiliate. So move away from loyalty programs. Look, we might be in a recession. I don't know what's going to happen with these tariffs, man. I mean, stock market's down and all that. So people are going to look for ways to make extra money. And instead of giving people like points or here, like, buy 5 things and you'll get 10% off, or refer 3 friends and you get 10% off, they may never want to buy anything from you again. But they will want to sell for you if they make some cash instead of offering those kind of programs. I would recommend a referral program. And what Social Snowball does right away is you can show surface like a coupon link or a affiliate link right on the thank you page, and then take that link and post it into your post purchase email flow. Right, super easy to start, and it auto creates an account. So that's step one. That's the easiest thing to do. Step two would be product seeding and starting to look at who follows you and identifying out of those followers which ones have like really high follower counts. So creator discovery is like the concept. There's tools out there, Refunnel, Social Snowball's coming out with something like that pretty soon. And essentially scan your followers and see if there's any sort of an influencer that's already following you, and try to build a relationship with them. Send them a free gift, get them to start posting.
Can I just highlight something real quick? Because I think a theme here that I think is really important to highlight. I've talked to a lot of brands that are like, I want to start this affiliate program, and then they just try to go find net new people. They start doing all this research, etc. But there are two big things you mentioned here. One is go to existing customers, right? And figure out from your existing customers who could be a good affiliate. And then two, go to your followers. From your followers, figure out like who is already kind of an influencer that you could tap into. So you're getting your existing audience or existing customers and tapping into that, and that's basically pre-validated people, right? They're much more likely to be a good affiliate for you. So, go look at what you already have as opposed to just trying to go find net new people out of the wild, which I think is a really important insight.
It's cheaper too. I mean, like they might have already bought. I mean, the customers already bought your product, so like you don't have to send them more free stuff. So like that's great on,
Yeah.
your P&L side, right? You're not sending free product and expecting a video. The person has like product already. They can review it, and then you can send them more free product. Like maybe they love it so much that they do it for like more free product, and that's great on your P&Ls, right? And then the influencer side, like if someone already follows you, they're more prone to want to talk to you. So that's another plus. And then after that, yeah, like step three would be like once you've validated, those two and see which type of content is, working well, then you start recruiting net new people. And I would go for content creators that are, maybe have like 10K or less followers. They just make good content, and start with them, and bank on some of the videos going viral, because influencers are super expensive. And dude, they're honestly getting more and more expensive. Like as this economy becomes tougher and these people are making videos on a daily basis and their life is just like revolved around making videos, they know like, hey, life is getting expensive. I'm spending a lot of time making this content. Like I want to get paid for it. Well then, don't go for the people who like do this for a living. Go for people who do this for fun on the side. Those people are like, all right, yeah, yes, sure, I'll review this really quick. And sometimes they create some equal or greater type of content than those influencers, because those influencers are just, they're getting hit up a lot. But hitting up the micro influencers sometimes is like the wave. And then, eventually once this starts scaling up and you start getting this, going, that's when you get into the whitelisting, and maybe that's when you hit up Hal, right? Like he's got to run ads for you. So like take those best pieces of content, get the usage rights, etc., and then start running ads. Honestly, the more that normal, real people start talking about your product, we could talk about AI. Like, I don't think AI is gonna last on Facebook and like Meta and TikTok. And the reason why these AI ads and all that, I think it's short lived, only because those platforms end up dying if AI content is the only thing produced, and then they make all these AI accounts. Then it's just AI accounts seeing AI ads, and then there's no real social media anymore, and then it's just AIs talking to each other. So I think that they're going to come out the flag or something, like
Well,
some sort of like detection. There's all the software companies coming out that do like cybersecurity against AI, especially on social media. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
I think, I mean, just on, I mean, there are definitely use cases to test concepts quickly with AI, and it's really cheap. enhance content with AI. But I think one thing I've is 100% true in advertising is authenticity always wins, right? And you don't have authenticity with AI, right? And that's also why it wins in terms of like building for influencers. Like typically the influencers that are more authentic do better, right? Their audiences feel more connected to them. And I think the other thing too is like, authenticity combined with novelty. And I think the way AI is it's not truly, I don't know, it's not like this, like I think successful influencers are really authentic and they can create a lot of novelty in the content they produce. So you always want to go back to them and kind of check out what's going on and then kind of get, that new content from them. But I just don't see that being the case with AI generated content.
Yeah, I think there's a place for AI content. I think, like, you should definitely, like, have a mix of both at the very least. But, like, getting people who have existing follower bases already, like, definitely helps because there's a trust factor. Whereas AI, you could just get, like, really pretty looking AI pictures and whatever, and, like, okay, cool. But I think people are starting to catch on a little bit like, yo, that person's skin is way too clear, or like, there's something fishy about this one, right? Like, I haven't seen this person ever before. So I don't know, but right now it's like, hey, if it's gonna make money, do it. But I think that Facebook, like Meta and TikTok are gonna like, you know, figure out a way to like deprioritize those one day.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think so. Okay, last question for you. How do you determine incremental revenue and basically the impact of social snowball for a brand, maybe on their bottom line? Like we're performance advertising, so like everything we have to do is really from an incremental revenue. Like we look at stuff from like an MER perspective, right? And you work with third party attribution partners, et cetera, to figure out like, hey, if we're running these campaigns or we scale up this new channel, it actually is increasing your revenue. We find it really hard to still, work with clients, even though like we've done a lot of work to make it very clear, to even justify an increase in ad spend, or justify opening up a new channel, especially because you mentioned the kind of way affiliate programs take off, where you might have a couple months where it's relatively flat and then you have it just go off exponentially. How do you have these conversations with brands about that revenue impact? I just think it's such a important thing to talk to because I know inherently the impact of affiliate programs is massive on brands, especially for D2C brands. How do you talk about that with your clients, your customers?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a time where I actually had someone pull up their Instagram follower account and I was like, "Let's check this out, bro, and see like how your follower account actually went up." You noticed it was an exponential increase. It wasn't like, for like the first like 8 months of you even being in existence, you had like 15 followers or 100 followers, let's say. And then out of nowhere, why did it start going up, right? And I'm like, that's the same way that you have to start thinking about affiliate marketing now, like, and same thing with paid ads, like, people need to see it enough times before they make a decision and trust a brand to buy something. Like, goes back to that, like, knockoff, drop shipped freaking air pump or whatever, like, products that exist. Like, yeah, I know people will like, impulse, like they'll buy something off of like Amazon because they're just like, all right, the true product is like a rip off. And then, they get disappointed once that rip off product comes to their house and then it's like broken or whatever. So then, they come to realization. But like, if you're a D2C brand, um, I kinda just showcase, like, some of the existing customers we have that, obviously we anonymize it, but there's some, like, aggregated data that we just show and say, like, "Look, you know, it took X amount of affiliates and X amount of weeks for them to start popping off." Like I said, it's usually 3 months, and then it's all last click attribution, right? So, like, the way that Social Snowball works or affiliate even works is it's coupon codes. Like, that I mean, like, you can't really work without 'em. We have this thing called safe links. So we generate a unique dynamic code at the page based off the referrer source. So we look
Mhm.
at what site they're coming from. So if it's a coupon leak site, we're not going to show a code if they clicked on this link. What we'll do is if they're coming from an Instagram or whatever, we have a pop-up that appears on the page that says claim your coupon code. That pop-up won't show up if you're coming from a Rakuten or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or a Google ad, let's say. Like, some people will run ads on their coupon links. Like, there's some nefarious affiliates out there. So, like, we have prevention methods for this. That's how we measure it, and then, customers feel comfortable. They're like, "Hey, like, at least 99% of the time, like, this is, like, true revenue." Like, obviously, there's someone who may be doing something sketchy or maybe doing self-referrals off of, like, 15 different IP addresses. That's so much work, and then we
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
customers, like, "Look, put a delay in the commissions. Count the commissions after the return window has already been fulfilled." So then like, this person bought the product, they got the product, they can't even return the product. Okay, now I'm gonna pay the commissions to this person,
yeah.
right? And if you're upfront with your affiliates, they'll be okay with it. It's better to be upfront and then recruit an affiliate than do something like just be desperate and bring an affiliate in, and be like, yeah, like we're gonna do this, and then have no terms of service or no agreement in place, and that you don't go over the types of fraud there are. Like you should be super, super clear. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's how we do it, and most of our customers never have an issue. We also tag all the orders on Shopify, so that's like another thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I want to just see too, like, well, I want to talk about last click because we do stuff on last click and UTM based, and I think it's really important for brands to understand. Like, last click is like the ultimate and best form of attribution, and it's also the most narrow window of attribution because what happens is you have influencers go out there and they share their coupon code, and there might be a percentage of people that go use that code, but there's also a percentage of people that don't use the code. They still go make that purchase, and that actually doesn't get attributed to that influencer in some cases. And it can be like view-based attribution or other things. So the other kind of wild thing about it too is like the way this is set up is it's really, really accurate, but also could be potentially missing some attribution, which does definitely drive some value for brands.
Yeah, like this is where I suggest for affiliates to stay on or be happy is like you do like this hybrid thing where it's like you reward them for the content that they're producing as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's where like, you look at their views or like the number of engagements they get or impressions or whatever. That could be a factor. So then they're motivated to keep doing this.
yeah,
'Cause some people are making really great content, but maybe it just doesn't convert, but it is driving a lot of brand awareness. Like, you're
sure.
seeing more traffic come to the site. You're seeing and, like, one thing that I notice is some people forget, and this is from the ad side too. You can run great ads, you can run great email campaigns, you can run great SMS campaigns, you can have the best affiliates and influencers, but if your website sucks at selling and you're not really good at clear your pictures look like shit and everything is like crap on your website and does not look on brand to whatever you just like ran ads on, you're not going to drive sales. Like that, let's
Yeah.
just be honest. So, and that hurts everyone. Like I'm sure you've worked with brands like that. And there's so many brands I've worked with like that who are just like, I put in a lot of effort on ads and Instagram. Maybe their agencies are amazing, but then their website CRO side just
Mhm.
broken straight up.
So that was a major frustration for me. And this year we rolled in a Q4 of last year, we rolled out at least product page and landing page CRO
Mhm.
because, and it's like, as long as we can own that and wherever we're sending traffic to looks good, like I'm happy because we did have lots of situations where we had great creative, well structured campaigns, really efficient traffic that was high intent. And then it was like someone would go to the landing page, they add to cart, and then the cart like disappears. Or like the landing page takes like way too long to load, or the product page takes too long to load, or it's like really ugly, really messy, and we could see the conversion rates were terrible. And it's like, well, there's nothing else we could do from an ads perspective to solve for this problem. And that's why we ended up like we now offer CRO, at least product page CRO as a service because I want to make sure we own that lever as well, because it was so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a hot take, but in my opinion, I think all agencies, except for the CRO ones, should be measured not on ROAS, but CPMs. Like how many,
Interesting.
you know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
same thing with email, right? How much traffic are you driving to the website? Not how much are people buying on the website. Why? Because the website is your responsibility. If your product sucks or like
Yeah.
you're like we're making you look good, that's what our job is, right? Like even the affiliate side, we make you look good, but if your product is very hard to buy, let's say your checkout is not working or your add to cart button is like not obvious or like your website's not ADA compliant or whatever it is, right? Or you got
Yeah.
15 pop-ups like popping up, flinging on the page. that's not my fault, right? Or that's not the affiliate's fault. That's not Hal's fault. That's not like any, like that's your fault, and we got to fix that. So you got to be open to taking suggestions. So any brand listening to this, sorry for being like, really like, like kind of hard on this, but like y'all gotta y'all gotta be realistic with your expectations sometimes. Like check out your website, look at the user flow, go on your Google Analytics and tell me where the drop off is occurring. If there's a lot of traffic coming to your website and then you have less than a 1%, I mean, like, less than, 0.5% checkout rate, like, there's something going on here, like, there's
Yeah.
something broken with your website, and you gotta fix it, like, I think what is it, like, 2.5% is, like, the typical like, that's, like, the benchmark or something that you
Conversion
should
rate.
have?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
well, like 2 to 4%, 2.5. Yeah. In
Yeah,
the range. Yeah. Yeah.
2.5, 2 to 4,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so, like, if you don't have anything above a 2, before you hire an ad agency or you have an ad agency or you have, like, an affiliate agency or whatever, like, stop pointing fingers and fix the CRO stuff first.
Well, we
But, like, it's really nice to hear that your agency does that,
yeah.
Like
Before doing this, we actually turned away a couple of brands because we did our audit. We checked out their landing page or their it was like Shopify conversion rates. It was across a couple different landing pages, but the overall average as well. And like I remember that anything sub one, we're like absolutely not. We're not going to touch this because it's like they have to go figure that out. We can't solve for this with ads.
mhm,
And even too, when you get to, you can optimize and have good product pages. If you're starting sub one, it's actually really hard to get it to a place where it's like reasonable and it's at a good benchmark. There's typically other stuff wrong with the brand or the product as well.
yeah, yeah. All I'm gonna say is I've seen some really great products, I've seen some great content, I've seen whatever, but yeah, sometimes the website is just broken. Like, I was just buying something yesterday, and there was no way possible for me to go to the checkout page to change my order. There's some items I added to my cart, and I couldn't go to my cart. It would
Yeah.
only show the last product I added to my cart, and then I had to manually type in the checkout link because I had the knowledge of it to
Y-
do brandname.com/checkout, and
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
was, like, able to adjust the order. But bro, like, think of the average individual, like, they would not have known that. Like, you
Yeah.
have to look at the general population, not I'm a marketer, like, looking at the website, you have to look at, like, I'm like a 14-year-old kid or something, or like, "Hey,
Mm.
I work at Starbucks," or whatever, like, "I'm a doctor," like, in that lens,
I
like,
also
they're not marketers.
think of it in the sense where it's like the phrase I say is like customers are not dumb, but they're lazy. And it's just like, what's the laziest, the laziest possible person that's going to navigate this? If you make it hard for them, if they have to go double check something or go and it's a lot of navigation, like they're just going to say no and they're going to drop it off. Right. Or they're going to drop off. And I think you just have to make things as easy as possible, reduce as much friction as possible, make it things as obvious as possible too. So,
Yep, I agree and I apologize for going on a tangent, it's just,
no.
there's so many great affiliates, there's so much content and so many impressions a brand gets, and then it's a pity when the website just sucks.
Yep. No,
It's very
100%.
unfortunate. Yeah,
Yep. No, I feel that completely because it was such a huge frustration from an ads perspective as well. But yeah, I appreciate this. This was great. A lot of really good insights here. Is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to give a quick, I mean, you can plug Social Snowball real quick if you want to say anything about that?
yeah, I mean, Social Snowball, guys, like, we are one of the leading, affiliate marketing and influencer marketing apps on Shopify, so if you ever need help, I'm happy to, check out your referral program, regardless if you're on Social Snowball or not. I'm a nerd about this stuff. And if you're on Social Snowball already, feel free to reach out as well. And, I'm happy to answer any questions. I think that affiliates and micro creators are the way to grow your brand. And I'm very bullish on that. I think that all brands have the potential of going viral. And the only way to do that is to get as many people talking about you, and incentivizing people to do that is the easiest way to do it. So, yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate all the insights. This is super, super. I mean, this is great. So
awesome. Thanks for having
awesome.
me, Hal.
Bye bye.